We are going to talk about one of those interesting things. Of course, we've seen very many people out there in the community doing a lot of good things, doing a lot of charity, doing a lot of bulungi mwansi. And the question now is, are you eyeing any office? Of course, this is the season. The Electoral Commission of recent issued out a roadmap for the 2026 elections. And today we want to get into the details of this roadmap, but also we get into the details of the demarcations of the polling stations. That is also something very, very important. And this is the activity that they are working on of late. With us is Mr. Kiyemba Umar, who is the head of election management in the Electoral Commission. It's a pleasure having you this morning.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Edrine. Good morning, viewers. I'm happy to be here this morning.
We are delighted to have you talk to us or take us through some of the updates on the electoral reforms. Sorry, on the electoral roadmap, election roadmap. When we talk about some of these things, from our own perspective, yes, we have a lot that we would wish to happen, that we would wish to see, but at least when you, the specialists, the people who are at the engine, come to help us understand some of these things, then we really delight in that. But just to start with, what are the activities you're taking on currently as the Electoral Commission?
Thank you, Edrine. Viewers, I want to remind the viewers that the Electoral Commission, we launched our roadmap some time back. This roadmap shows the journey to 2026. And I want to tell the viewers that, and Ugandans generally, that elections is a process. It's not an event, it's not a one-day event, meaning there are stages involved in this process. And our roadmap clearly shows these important stages that we have to undertake that will lead us to the 2026 elections. The reason why we launched and issued that roadmap is basically for stakeholders to prepare themselves and also to get involved, to participate. Because all these activities can only happen if the stakeholders get involved. Now, in that roadmap, there are several milestones, key activities that we have to undertake. And some of them, actually, we have now started. I think, a few weeks, a few weeks ago, we rolled out two important activities, field activities, very critical to the electoral process. One of them is the demarcation of electoral areas, and another one is reorganization of polling stations. I'll try to unpack the two. And I will start with the demarcation of polling stations. This is a very important activity. One of the major activities that we undertake when we are beginning to prepare for the general election. We do this every time we are preparing for general election. It's guided by the law. Article 180 of the Constitution, 181, then sections 4, 10, 23, 108, 109, 110 of the Local Government Act. So basically, it's a very important activity which is guided by the law. And generally, whatever we do as an institution is premised on the law. But this demarcation of electoral areas sets the pace and also creates the structure within which elections are conducted. We are talking about electoral areas for local government councils cross board, right from the district down to the sub-county. And you cannot hold an election until you have structures, you have electoral areas within which people are going to be nominated and voted. So these electoral areas are not static, they are dynamic, they keep changing. Electoral areas we had in 2021 will not be the same electoral areas that we will have in 2026. Because
why do they keep on changing?
Yeah, there are various reasons why that happened. And one of them is population. Representation is for people, so population keeps changing. In 2021, probably the number of people in Uganda and generally voters has changed, so that creates the polling, the electoral areas.
While doing this, do you relate it to the, for example, now this year when the WUBOS has just released the provisional results of the National Housing and Population Census, so do you relate it to it?
Yes, it is like I told you, it's a legal process. The law has laid down the procedures for us to follow, and one of the key variable that we use is the population quota. This helps us determine. Actually, the law has prescribed the population quota already. The law has already laid down the number of people to be represented at each level. For example, at district level, for every 30 people, they are supposed to be represented by a councillor at the district level. Then when you move to the city level, the number is 100,000 people, down up to sub-county level. So the law has already done this. Our job is simply to implement the provisions of the law. So basically we have three principles we follow when we are demarcating, and these are provided by the law. One is the basic unit principle. For every unit, for example, a sub-county at a district has to be represented by a councillor, okay, irrespective of the size. And when we talk about the unit, in case of a district, it's the sub-county. In case of a sub-county, it is the parish or the ward in urban areas. So as a minimum, every sub-county has to be represented by a councillor, for example, at the district. So that's the starting point, okay? I'll give an example, for example, Wakiso, with 27 sub-counties. All the 27 sub-counties have to be represented by a councillor, okay? Now, after determining that, the basic unit, then we move to the parameter of the population quota. The population quota, I've already mentioned that they are prescribed by the law. So since we know that these are representatives of people, the factor of population is very key. So we apply, because we know all the sub-counties are not equal in terms of size, in terms of population. So we apply the population quota. If a sub-county is big, has a big number of people, according to the census data, we apply the population quota and then determine how many representatives will be representing that sub-county. And now the issue is here, a sub-county, for example, with less than 30,000 will have one representative. A sub-county with more, for example, if a sub-county has 100,000 people, when you apply the quota of 30,000, that will have approximately 3 representatives. So this is what we have been doing. And also the law provides for a third under affirmative action. Article 180 and Article 181 provides that for all local government councils, the council, a third will be reserved for women. Okay? So during demarcation, we determine, we work out, we derive the number, the third for each council, and then demarcate. So in so doing, you'll find that in some cases we have merged, we have one maybe two sub-counties being represented by a female representative, a female representative. And so basically that's what we do. So during this exercise, we determine the size of the council using the law. Then we will know, first of all, that okay, Wakiso district local government, district council will have maybe 80 councillors, okay, depending on the law as enumerated. Then the 80 councillors, how are they distributed? Then we use the population quota to distribute them, and then we determine, we demarcate these boundaries. So for a bigger sub-county, like I mentioned, that has more than one councillor, you will maybe have, for example, maybe A, B, and C within that sub-county. So during elections, the sub-county will produce maybe the 3 councillors, and then it will clearly demarcate that electoral area A has so many parishes, for example. Electoral area B has so many parishes, and then C has so many parishes, and we clearly demarcate them, so that come the time of nominations, those who intend, the aspiring candidates, know exactly which areas constitute which electoral areas. So it's a very important activity. It creates the structure.
Does this also explain why in such a time we also see creation of new constituencies? For now, the member of parliament?
No, for now, this is strictly for local government councils. Okay. And this process affects local government. So it's what we are doing. It's very important. Yeah. We concluded field work on the 16th of this month. And this, we don't do it as electoral commission ourselves. It is participatory. We involve stakeholders in the various areas. So it is participatory, and ours is to guide the stakeholders that this is what the law provides, and then this is done. So right now what we are doing is to process the data that we got from the field. After this, we shall send the results, what has been processed, back to the field for display, for the stakeholders to view and satisfy themselves that yes, this is exactly what we agreed upon, and also for information, because now, like I said, this will form the structure. Candidates will be nominated for those electoral areas. And if there is any grievance, if there is any dissatisfaction, again the stakeholders will have a chance to raise them to us and say, look here, maybe this was not done well. Then we will look into that. If there is any remedial action to undertake, we'll do it, and then we'll move forward. So that is one activity. Yes. The other activity that we are conducting now is the reorganization of polling stations. This is again another critical activity that we undertake every time we are organizing a general election. These polling stations, of course, you know, these are areas where people go to vote, okay? And within 5 years or so, many things change, ultimately. One of them is the population of the voters. Then the other, the developments. We see that, you know, in Uganda we vote from outside and maybe in open places. maybe where we had a polling station in a playground, now a playground has been developed, maybe fenced off, you can no longer access it. There is a market has been constructed.
It's now a plaza.
Maybe there is a, yes. So you have to look for an alternative location to place a polling station. That is one reason why we have to review every 5 years. You cannot just assume that all is well the way it was in 2021, you know. So there are changes that happen, and you have to go back together with the stakeholders and review and find a suitable location. Then the issue of population, because these polling stations are made up of people, voters, okay? So, and remember we have the 48 hours rule within which to declare results. So we have to have manageable numbers of voters. We have set optimum numbers, 900 for rural areas, and then 1,200 for urban areas. So for any polling station that has more than 900 voters, we split it so that we have manageable numbers. First of all, not only to enable us comply with the law, but also to make it convenient for the voters to cast their vote. We don't want to keep voters in the queue for the whole day. So we do this for the convenience of the voters, but also to help us do the work and within the law, as prescribed by the law. But also, we many times we see new creations, new administration units created, parishes, and the law commands us that whenever a parish is created, you must have a polling station as a bare minimum. So during the organization of polling station, we also look at that. A new polling station has been created. Does it have a polling station? Yes. If it doesn't, then you have to create one. So these are some of the factors that really creates the need for us to review the polling stations every time we are preparing for a general election.
There is a situation, I asked it partly before we came on air.
Yes.
For example, the polling station where I vote from,
yes.
They have demarcated the polling station, that's St. Paul, and then we have it. What happens if now the population increases to a level that exceeds the maximum? So do you create another polling station within, or you now look for another place out of that polling station?
Well, now what we do, that's a very good example. Those ones we call them polling centers, where you have several polling stations in one area.
Yes.
And the reason is that polling station was overpopulated. There were so many voters. So what we do to make it easy for the voters, but also for us who manage the process, we split it, but we leave it there. You find that we either split it by alphabetical order of the names. So you find that you have several polling stations at one center. So it is something that we do even now during reorganization. So we look at the population, the voter population of these polling stations, then we determine which ones to split. So yes, we do that for the main reason is to make it convenient for the voters, not to have long queues, but also for us to be able to manage this process within the prescribed.
What about if when the population, the residents reduce in that area, and probably they even change their voting locations, they change the polling stations that vote, do you come and now reduce on the number of centers? So
I talked about when we split, but sometimes we merge. Okay, during reorganization, there are things that we do. We do split, we do create, we merge, we rationalize. So in cases where the numbers have significantly reduced, because a polling station is a cost center, we also have the list number. If, for example, you have 50 voters on a polling station, okay, it doesn't make economic sense for you to maintain that polling station. What you do, you merge that polling station to a nearby polling station so that it becomes one. And the reason is that you, as much as you want to make it convenient, but it also has to make economic sense, because a polling station is a cost center. You're going to recruit staff, will man. There are costs involved. So yes, during reorganization, we look at this and merge. So it's one scenario which we deal with during reorganization.
Is there a specific criteria you consider while especially creating new polling stations? Is there a specific criteria you follow, especially with the venue, the station itself? Yes.
Yeah, basically, because like I said, you must really have enough space, okay? And the law also talks about there are areas that are suitable for locating a polling station. The law does not allow us to create a polling station in an area where it's close, it's near to a bar, you know, such areas, you know, that are very congested. Then they are selling alcohol here. So the law does not permit. So you must look for appropriate venues. First of all, you look at the space. Is the space adequate enough? Because there is a layout, a polling station layout provided by the law. You need appropriate space where you're going to place all these tables, you know. So that is very key. And then safety of the voters. But then, and also you look at if you're going to create a polling station in the home of a candidate, that also, you know, creates some. So you must look at all this. So it must be in a neutral, you know, in a place that is accessible by all people, even people with disability. They should be able. All these should be really looked at before agreeing on an appropriate venue or location for.
What happens to a situation where, for now, you are demarcating the polling stations, and then after that, you've demarcated this particular polling station, but someone you never expected they would contest, you see them being nominated. What happens? Do you now call off the other place?
Unfortunately, no. We you know, after this we shall gazette the polling stations, and we can now not change. But what we are saying is that you look into this. We as a matter of fact, we encourage polling stations to be in public places, not in private homes, you know. We encourage places like a school, a church, you know, because these are public places. Nobody owns them, unless in very rare circumstances where you cannot find a public, you know. And then
there is one I know in Katwe, which is in someone's compound.
Someone's compound.
Yeah, under a mango tree, and that is its name. But in such a situation where one of the children of this person wants to contest at the polling station is in their compound.
Well, those are isolated cases, but what we are saying is that there must be fair and then the perception really, okay? So if somebody maybe gets ideas to contest later on, after the polling station has been created, that is a different story. We may not, because at the end of the day, this polling station, even if it's placed maybe in the compound, they don't own it. It is not their private, you know. It's for all the voters, and even during polling, everyone is represented. Their agents, their security, you know. So, but what we are saying is that if there is, if that can be avoided, if there is an appropriate, an alternative venue that is purely, you know, neutral.
Do you only consider public places like public schools, I mean government schools, or even private?
No, it can be a private school.
Okay.
It's fine because we may not have enough public places. So even if it's a private school, that can be accommodated. But the bottom line is that these places belong to the community, the stakeholders are involved. Okay? They will say, because we have meetings, we have reorganization meetings where the committee members are involved, and they will say, okay, this one is appropriate, let's go for this. Like I said, this is not ours. For us, we are just there to facilitate the process. So once the stakeholders say this is appropriate and the owner of the venue has no problem, so we go by that. Because at the end of the day, this polling station belongs to the community. It does not belong to EC. It is for the community. They are the ones to vote from that polling station. So once they decide and say this is okay and the owner of the property is okay with it, then for us we have no problem.
Well, let's take a short commercial break. When we return, we are going to pick it up from there. Kindly stick with us.
Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Family TV, enriching lives. Family TV, enriching lives. Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe brings you issues at hand here on Church of Uganda Family TV every day, Monday to Friday, so you do not have to miss out. Today, we are talking about issues to do with elections. We know that elections, 2026 is not far. We have a year and a few months to go. So, but of course you realize that people are already in the mood. When you go out there in the community, you see people are already targeting places. We've seen very many people going to Chitezi, not because they really feel for the people in Chitezi, but later you see they have political intention behind, so they want all cameras to see that here this person has been standing with the people. We've seen very many people coming into very many things because probably they have intentions. Some have even gone ahead to pin up flyers and billboards and posters that are showing their interests. Now, Mr. Kiyemba, I think if we can start it from here, are there guidelines that regulate this, that until when you're duly nominated, you should not pin up any billboard or poster?
Yeah, thank you. Right.
As per Electoral Commission?
Right now, we have no authority when it comes to publication of posters, because these are aspiring candidates. I think what regulates is the authority now. For example, KCCA or the relevant authority. I know posters are posted not only for politics, but also maybe shows and all that. I think the same regulation should apply until nominations are conducted. Because you know very well that we are under multi-party dispensations. Parties have internal activities, party activities, including primary elections. All these sometimes create need for candidates, aspiring candidates, to print posters, and we cannot get involved as an institution. But I know the local authorities have guidelines and regulations when it comes to placement of posters, banners. I think that is what right now should regulate the pinning and display of posters in the various areas. It's only after nominations and when we now fully own the candidates, then we are fully responsible after nominations. Before that, these are not. We have no locus. They are not.
What about if someone stood in a public place, maybe a church,
yes,
or a gathering, a wedding, and they campaigned at this time that I'm coming for this particular position, so Munda Bidangadala, is that acceptable?
Again, as Electoral Commission, until nominations conducted,
you don't know this.
We don't even know whether they qualify to be nominated for the particular position. So it's after nominations when we confirm that yes, these are duly nominated candidates, and then we take charge. Then we start monitoring the way they campaign, the way they conduct themselves. There are regulations regarding campaigning, which are well laid down in the laws. So right now, the other relevant authorities are the ones to to take charge.
Well, you talked about qualifying. Now, if we can talk about who qualifies, starting from the local council,
Yes.
who qualifies to be a candidate as per the guidelines of electoral?
First of all, the major qualification, you must be a Ugandan of 18 years and above. We no longer have the upper limit on all positions of leadership. And then you must be a registered voter. You cannot be nominated until you are a registered voter. And then we have academic qualifications for the position of for the presidency, member of parliament, and district chairperson and city, chairperson. For the rest of the positions, there is no academic qualification. So all you need is to be a registered voter, and then you pay nomination fees. They are prescribed in the law at the various levels. In some cases, you pay 3 million for members of parliament. There's where you pay 200,000 shillings for LC5 chairperson, then 50 for councillors, then 20 for sub-county councillors. So depending on the level that you want.
Why do people have to pay this money?
It's the law. It is prescribed in the law. It's one of the requirements that you must fulfill for you to be nominated. It's not a lot of money, but it is prescribed by the law, and you have to satisfy that requirement for you to get nominated. And Edrine, I want to talk about the roadmap.
Yes.
Just mention the two activities that we are undertaking right now, but there are also other critical activities, and I want to invite the public, the Ugandans generally, to get involved, to participate, because these activities are very crucial. And I also want to mention again that election is not an event. It's a process. There are various stages involved, and it is important that stakeholders get involved from the onset. We will have, maybe I'll just mention the key milestones in our roadmap. When we will have another critical activity called the update of the National Voters Register. And this will happen in around January next year. This is very key. What happens during the update is the Ugandans who have never gotten an opportunity to register as voters. I said you cannot participate in an election unless you are registered. You can't participate, first of all, as a candidate, but also as a voter. You will never vote until you are registered. So for all Ugandans that have never registered, say those who have just turned 18, between maybe the previous generation and now, they have an opportunity to register. And we also have those who want to change their voting locations. For example, you are staying in a different location, maybe Masaka, now you relocated to Kampala. You have a chance to transfer your voting location. So this will happen during the update of the National Voters Register in January. It's a very important activity. Many times we get people turning up to vote and their names are not there simply because they never registered. So Ugandans must get ready and get involved in this process. After that,
before we leave that, we look at people who maybe want to change their voting locations.
Yes.
Doesn't this now interfere with the demarcations of the polling stations, an activity that had been done previously?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't actually, because all you need to do, and you know, the beauty is that all our activities are chronological in nature. This one feeds into the other. You cannot, for example, you cannot do update until you have completed demarcation and reorganization. So when you after this, when we conclude the ongoing activity, we shall have the structure now. We shall have the electoral areas, and also the polling stations. Okay. Now the update is conducted under this structure. So if you want to transfer, it is very okay. The law says you can register, you can vote in your parish of origin or parish of residence. So you have two options. If you are born of Masaka, the law allows you to go back to your parish of origin where you're born and register and vote from there. But you can also vote from your area where you're residing currently. So it is your choice. And so during the update, you can simply transfer and say, okay, I was voting from, you talked about a polling station in Katwe called the Mango Tree. That's where that's where you used to vote from, but now you shifted to Mukono, that's where you live. So you are free to say that now, this is my residence, this is the nearest polling station within my parish, so I can transfer from Mango Tree in Katwe to my current residence. Or you can even say, for me, I will vote for my people in Masaka. So you can transfer to Masaka. The law allows you to do that.
We have people who still have hardships in getting national IDs. It still remains the condition on which you can be in the voters register?
No, you must, what is important, you must have what we call the NIN, National Identification Number. And that qualifies you as a Ugandan. Like I said, the major qualification, the first major qualification is for you to be a Ugandan. Before we include you on our register, you must pass through the NIRA. You know NIRA is the authority responsible for citizenship. So you must go through the NIRA process, and NIRA must confirm that yes, Edrine is a Ugandan, and they will give you that unique identifier, the NIN. So once you have the NIN, then you qualify to be, that means your citizenship has been verified, and then you qualify to be on our register. So you don't have to have the national ID. The major issue here is the NIN, because the NIN now confirms you as a Ugandan. So whether you have a national ID doesn't matter, but you must have a NIN. Once you have the NIN, then you qualify to be on the register. So then we will have what we call the display. Display involves, now we display the register. After the update, again we take it back. Like I said, all our processes are very participatory because we don't do these things for ourselves. They are for the community, they are for the Ugandans. So after that, and even this current process, I told you, that after we shall take back whatever has been done and publish it and pin it, and for people to know that this is what was done. If there are any objections, if there are any issues, they can raise them. So likewise, after the update, we shall have the display of the National Voters Register. You have seen this happen. We do it at all the polling stations across the country. And the reason is that the voters should go and confirm the correctness of their particulars on the register, and also confirm the location. Many times we have seen people turning up on polling day. They're not even sure where they're voting from, okay? And like I said, during these processes, these changes, names change, okay? Like when a polling station has been created and then maybe split, somehow the name are going to be moved. So it is during the display that you're going to confirm that yes, my name is written correctly, my date of birth, yes, is captured correctly, then this is my polling station.
What if I don't show up, for example, in the registers have been pinned up for approval, and I don't show up? Does it mean that I will not be considered?
No, if you don't come, it's okay. You will still be on the register. But the disadvantage is that on polling day, you may not be sure. For you may know that, okay, for me, I've always been voting from Mango Tree. I voted there in 2010, 2016, 2021, and you take it for, you know. So, but during these processes, like I said, there are changes that happen. A new unit has been created. So you don't know, your name could have been moved during these changes. So it is important that you confirm that, yes, this is where I've been voting from, yes, but my name is still there. Or if it has been moved to where, okay?
When then do you delete those who are dead or those who may be left the country?
Okay, no, that is exactly doing the same process of display. Other than confirming your particulars on the register, it is also a cleaning process of the register. And like I'm saying, this register does not belong to EC. It is the register of the community. The responsibility of cleaning it belongs to the community. It is the community members who can tell us, yes, this person was a voter here, but unfortunately he passed on. Okay? Then you volunteer that information to us, then we capture. That's when we can delete. Otherwise, if we don't get the information, this name will stay on the register until the community members volunteer the information. If somebody has maybe relocated permanently, okay, like I said, you relocated, maybe you were working somewhere and then you relocated, it is the community to volunteer that information. But yes, this person used to be here, was my neighbor, I know him, but he shifted, he relocated from this area, he's no longer here. So the responsibility actually lies with the public, with the community, to clean the register. So it is not our responsibility as EC. You volunteer the information, then for us we facilitate the process. So that is also very important for people to participate. Like I said, even if you're not coming, at least ask someone to come and verify for you. Because sometimes, I'll tell you this, some people even take advantage. Somebody can come and declare you dead. Okay? Maybe he's your opponent. And if you don't come to object to that information, you can be affected. Okay? So it is important that people get involved in these processes so that people don't take advantage. So it's a participatory process where we expect all Ugandans to get involved. So it is a cleaning process of the register. So you can see that this process is the responsibility of all Ugandans. And I think this also brings me to the point that people should stop the blame game. You see that first of all, you have the responsibility as a voter, as a candidate, as a journalist. So let's all play our part. Then after the display, we shall clean the register. And then that will take us to another critical activity of the nomination of candidates. Nomination of candidates involves now all those who are aspiring for the various positions will present their credentials and get nominated. Like I said, all our processes are guided by the law. Okay, they are procedures. They are not our creation as an institution. So nomination, candidates will come and get nominated. Once you go through the sieve and you are declared duly nominated, then you become a candidate, and then you are free to canvass for votes. But what I want to mention here is that there are requirements. For example, the civil servants, the law requires that you resign your position 90 days to nominations. Okay, so this roadmap also helps you to plan, because this roadmap has all the critical dates. Okay, so if you're a civil servant out there and you have interest in participating as a candidate, then you know what to do. You need to know how the 90 days, because you must satisfy that requirement before nominations. And
when is that going to be?
Nomination, it's a period, maybe starting from June, July next year, it will go up to around November. Like I said, there are many positions, right from local government, special interest groups, member of parliament, and then president. So it's a period. But we have our roadmap on the website. You can look at it and then know when to resign if you're going to participate. And after you have been nominated, then you'll be free to campaign. And again, this is also very important that Ugandans should get involved in this. You listen to the manifesto of the country so that you can make informed decisions. Don't allow to be manipulated. Don't be allowed to be bribed. Okay? Because now if you're going to sell your vote, then this person, the person that has bought your vote, you don't demand anything from them because they have paid you. Okay, but most importantly, you look at issues. Listen to these people, to the message, listen to their manifestos, and make informed decisions. So it is very important, but also for the candidates and even their supporters, they must behave in a civil manner. Okay, don't use and actually the law prohibits this. Don't use foul language, attacking each other, abusing the other. Just focus on the issues, what you want to deliver, what you want to deliver to the people. Don't attack, don't abuse, don't get involved in violence, because I want to tell people that even during this election period, the laws still apply. Okay? I've seen many people during campaigns flouting traffic regulations. The law will catch up with you, and you will not have an excuse that yes, we are into campaigns. No. So I want people to be responsible, listen to the candidates, and make informed decisions when that time comes.
Okay. Well, as time is almost out, but what would be your last remarks on this topic and on the electoral roadmap? So
what I want to tell the viewers out there is that let them get involved. I want to stress again, election is a process. Okay, there are stages which feed into the other. Don't come out on polling day and cry foul. My name is not on the register. My name was. There is a time for you to address that. So let them get involved at all the stages, but also let's desist from issues of bribery, voter bribery. I think we have reached a very worrying levels of commercialization of politics, where now it has become a marketplace where it was the highest bidder takes it. It's not a very good thing for our democracy, for our country. But most importantly, let's get involved. Let's get involved. All of us have a role to play in this process. Electoral Commission is just one of the players among the many. But before you blame Electoral Commission, first of all, ask yourself, have I done what I'm supposed to do correctly? So for us, we are open. We are open to suggestions. If you think there's a matter, there's something that we have not done well, always come to us. We always welcome suggestions. We welcome, even constructive criticism. We welcome it. So, because whatever we do, we are doing it on your behalf as Ugandan. So join us so that we can have a credible electoral process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kiyemba, for the insights you've shared with us. And as a viewer, one of the duties and responsibilities of you as a citizen of Uganda is to be part of the leadership. And the leadership, it is your role to choose your leader through election. Therefore, do not sit back And that's none of my business. At the end of the day, your vote counts. Thank you so much, and from the entire team, Hope, where we started way back in the morning, Norman, Andrew, and the entire team of Good Morning Family and Issues at Hand, it's a good day.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury.